Hello from all around the world. You're back with Lord Fish, and today we're going to make some quick trailers. So start off with a square today, and we're probably going to go about it really quick. So you can make the minor details change the way you want. You're probably going to want to make a rectangle right about now. There's a couple different ways we can do this whole thing, but we're going to do it in a way that I think everybody should be able to follow along. So we're just making the shape. We're going to make the inner trailer for when we take it out of that shape. If you'd like to round the corners, you're going to want to click on the outer box, hit tab, and pick out with the lines which corners you would like to round. I am not going to round this trailer because most trailers are very, very square. So I'm going to just make a nice square shape to ours. I'm going to start off by just milling the shape out of the other shape. I'm going to grab that one first and shift left click to grab the second one. I'm going to go to object, bool, and because we're not going to have any issues, we're just going to click the first difference because this one's going to be a problem solving difference. Now that we've done that, actually let's just go back one step. Sorry. We're going to shift click just the inner square and shift D it first, then shift left click the other square. Then we're going to take that shape out. It's going to leave us with this shape afterwards, and there's a reason. If you want a back door, we're going to use this to punch out the shape of your back door. So say you want an opening door or gate on the back, this would be it. So you can make it taller for it's like a ramp when you lower it. You can make it the same size if you don't want to do that. What I would do though is not move it except for making it thinner like so. So you kind of get that, and you want to always have a bigger shape when you're punching out a second shape. So we're going to shift D because we're going to make ours for it open. So you don't have to follow the step if you are not. We'll click this with shift left click, and then we're going to go to our difference again, and we shouldn't have any issues. And now that should have a nice shape punched out of it. This is a little big. I'm going to leave it a little big for it's more like a ramp when we lower it. If you want yours to be perfectly even, you just need to shape it to the right size and move it down into where you want it to be. I won't add hinges unless we got time, but we will see how far we go and how fast we get there. So now that's like that. Looks pretty good to me. Should look pretty good to you. We could add a little bit more style if we click it and go into edit mode with tab. We can hit Control R, and we can go this way with this. And if we wanted to, we can add some flare here. We just hit S to bring it out a little bit, and then we grab this upper ring with faces and do the same. And now it just kind of tapers in. It looks pretty good, but you can, oops, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. We're going to hit S and just stretch it out. You can stretch it to match. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. I don't really like the flare, so I'm just going to go back. It's the beauty of this. Using Blender, you can go back if you don't like something or if you want to change it. I think I'm just going to leave it straight up and down for now at least. So we got the basic shape of our trailer, and the next step we're going to want to make a tongue for it. Oops, so I'm just going to erase that again. Make sure you're out of edit mode and push Shift A and pull up a cylinder. Pop it down. We just need to figure out which way is straight. And there we go. I'm going to stretch it right out. Oops, just the one way. And then we're going to hit S to shrink it down. And it's still going to be a little smaller than that. I actually don't know if we want to use this shape for this. Maybe we want to use a different shape. Maybe we want it to be more square. So let's delete that. Let's do a square one. I think it'll look better. And part of doing this is you're going to have to use your judgment when you're going along and change things on the fly to make it look good, to make it look right, and to make it look like your own, for you're not just copying other people's designs. So as I know, you're probably going to follow along with me, but I do want you to make your own changes to make the thing yours, to make it more specifically your own trailer. If you're using it for a game, your fans are going to appreciate it, the people who play are going to appreciate it. So we're just going to kind of just change this till it's almost the same shape, maybe just a bit smaller. And again, if you want to do yours a little bit different, that's perfectly fine. We're going to Shift D it when we're done, and we're going to make it fatter like this, Mr. Fatty, and like that. And then we're just going to try to match that edge. You might have to move yourself around a bit. with the other edge. So I want to like that, and then I'm just going to bring this one in just a little bit. So we have a perfectly shaped square, and then we're going to grab the other one with shift left click, go to object, bool, and difference. And now we have a metal frame shape for our underneath of our trailer. That should work for what we need it for. Just need to bump it into place. Maybe you want it a little bit smaller. That's up to you. I'm going to make mine that big. And then I'm going to just carefully, watching the edges, bump it up into place. Perfect. Looking good. All right, now we're going to hit Shift A, and we're going to make another square. And we're going to pull it down a little bit, and we're just going to go S until it's around the same size-ish. And then we're going to make it long. Why we're going to make this so long is we're going to use this as the tongue of our trailer. So we're going to bring it out like that. It needs to be a little bit smaller, it looks like. Let's just adjust it. It could be a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. It's all up to you. I think it actually looks better being a little bit bigger, so let's just do it like so. Just for the top edge isn't poking through. It's almost lined perfectly like that. Looks pretty good on the back. Shrink it a little bit maybe. You're gonna have to tinker around until you get the exact look you want, but you get the idea. And next we are going to make a cylinder. And we're going to want it to turn the opposite way, so it should be this one. And alright, we're going to bring it down. Alright, and we're going to shift D it before we do anything. Let's take that and shrink that down just for now. Take this one, we're going to drag it out a little bit just the one way so we're still perfectly centered. And we're going to thin that out. And I just wanted to get us an extra piece on the side in case we need to do anything different. Now we're going to go to faces. We're going to grab that face. We're going to grab that face. We're going to hold Control B and drag it out until you get the right tire shape. And if you've got a weird angle like I do, just take your mouse and roll the scroll button up, and you'll see it'll add more curves to it to try to give it a better look. I need to do something like that. And we're also going to do another shortcut now and do our coloring on this wheel right now, for we don't have to try to click all these little tiny pieces later. So we'll cheat a bit, and we'll make it black first. Looks good. We'll do plus, and the way most games work is that you add a side decal and a top decal, so I'm going to make this a second black. Even though they look the same, they're a different color, and that's going to make a difference for when it's in game to be able to give them two different decals on two different spots. And now we're going to take this one, we're going to make it a third color, we're going to make it gray. Alright, like that, perfect. And now we're ready to move on. We're going to hit I, we're going to just move in just a little bit. We're going to hit E, we're going to right click to cancel our movement, and then we're going to drag that in. And when you're satisfied with how far it is in, we're going to hit I again. We're going to go in, and then we're going to hit E again. And we're going to hit right click to cancel again, and we're going to drag it out. And last one, we're going to hit Control B. And we have a pretty decent looking tire. If you want to auto smooth it, shade smooth it at this point, you're more than welcome to. Go to your normals, make sure it's over 35, under 70. Click your auto shader, and there we go. We got a pretty decent looking tire now, and it's ready to go. So we can bump it into around the place that we're going to want it. We can go back to our different mode for we can see it in a different shade and it's not so weird. Let's not move that up and down yet. Let's do this. So we're probably going to make this one our axle, so we'll just stretch it out, and that's why I wanted to have an extra piece to work with here. It's up to you how much detail you want to go into on your axles. You can make more pieces for it. It's completely up to you, obviously. You might want to make a joining piece at the end and put some bolts through it to hold your tire in. It's going to depend how much detail you're putting into your game. Maybe you just want this piece on the end. I'm probably just going to put this piece on the end. It looks pretty good. I'm going to shift D it though when I'm done, when I think it's in position. And we're going to make sure that we're on this, and then we're just going to have to add a minus here, and that's why we're sitting in the middle and we're not moving yet, is to make sure this is easy enough to do. We can just switch side to side like that, no problem. Okay, so I'm probably going to attach this to this to this and hit Control J. So I left clicked. Sorry, I should do that over. Click, shift left click, Control J. That's going to make that piece one. I'm going to right click to cancel that movement just to show you how it moves. And then we're going to grab this, we're going to hit Shift D. Alright, and now we're going to drag this up, and we're going to try to figure out where the position of our front tire is going to be. And if it's just a little too close to your trailer, like mine seems to be, I'm just going to move this one out just a hair. Take this, and we're just going to stretch it just a hair to make up your gap. Something like that. You can move your tires around to make sure it's exactly in place. I won't waste your time doing it for you. You know what? To make sure that these are exactly in place, let's do this. So we're going to go Shift D, right? And we're going to hit, we're going to take out the minus here. That's going to put it exactly on the back end in the exact same spot. Shift D again. We're going to repeat our magic. And then we're going to hit Shift D on that. We're going to repeat our magic again by adding a minus now. And again, and we're using math to make sure that everything stays exactly symmetrical and is in the exact same spot on either side. So that looks pretty good to me. We may want to bolt this together or put a brace over top of it to hold it together, but I'll leave that up to you. Should be pretty quick, pretty easy. And let's move forward. What's left? I guess we need to make an attachment for our trailer to join on. All right. Oops, I moved a little too far. So on this side, it would be the receiving part of the hitch. So we'll have to figure out a shape that's going to work for us. You're going to just kind of have to take my example and make your own version of it. If you have a better idea, or if you think this looks good, you're more than welcome to use this design. All right, something like this. How are we going to attach it? Let's just move it down like that, something like that. We obviously got to shrink it, and something like that. And if we want to just give this a little more design, we can grab the top and Control B it to make it kind of roll down like so. And then we can Shift D it, drag it down just a hair and hit S. And S, and find about the size of your hitch. If you're doing it in the same model you're going to make your other hitch side from, just make sure they're the same size where they fit together would be the biggest thing. And then grab the outside one, Object, Bool, and difference on the top, because it's not complicated. We don't need to adjust it. It should be real simple. So we got this piece, we got that piece, we got our frame, we've got our trailer together. Pretty quick, pretty easy. You're probably going to want to leave that piece disattached actually. So let's do it like this. We'll grab this piece. No, let's not grab that yet. We're going to want to center it by the way that we join them together, I'd imagine. So let's grab this, then this last, and Control J. Now the whole frame's together. Grab this top piece, grab the bottom piece, Control J. Now they're together. Gonna have to leave your wheels loose. So this whole thing should be one now. Oh, we didn't grab that front axle. We can just grab that and Control J. And everything should be one except for the tires and the back door. If you want the back door to open, you're going to have to leave it separate. And same with the wheels. If you want them to turn, you're going to have to leave them separate. We'll go into our coloring real quick maybe. And we'll quickly color this. And if you guys would like a version with a little more details and things like that, ask for it. Say it in the comments you'd like to see a part 2. Just before we do this, let's go ahead and shade smooth it. And we'll go to here and go to 35. And go between 35 and 70, but don't go above. You can shade smooth this piece, same thing. We're going to hit 35. And it'll just look a little better when we color it. And as you can see, our wheels are already colored. So we're going to grab this top piece and let's do some coloring on it. Make sure you check into your materials here. Do new. Let's make the whole thing like, I don't know, I don't know what color to make it. Let's just make it this gray for now. Make sure you're in edit mode, assign. Probably going to want to make this tongue a different color. I'm going to have to kind of mess with the shades to get different colors on them because they're all kind of metally. Maybe we'll do this in a black just for now. You're just assigning a color slot, obviously, so you can add colors when you're in the game, but you need to have different slots to be able to do that. So those are their own grays, even though they look really close. Maybe we'll do these ones a darker black. And don't forget these pieces on the side. I'm just hitting L over top of them to highlight that separate piece. And plus, new, no problem. Nice and easy, everyone. So there you have it. There's an easy trailer. You may want to do more color schemes. We may want to add a little more detail. But for now, you got the basic idea. If you'd like to see something a little bit more in detail, feel free to let me know in the comments. And we will go do another video. This back piece shouldn't need to be colored because it's only one color, essentially. But we'll just make it gray just in case you have any issues with that and assign it. But make sure you give us a thumbs up if you appreciate the video, if it helped you anyway. And again, if you'd like to see something else, a different type of trailer, more detail, maybe a box on the front for carrying things, some more detail, let me know in the comments and we'll easily get that done as well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.